Welcome to the Offshore Club's fun-filled, fact-filled, fast-paced, blockbuster podcast, Coffee with Carib Carter, coming to you exclusively from where the sun never sets on the good life at a great price. And now, fill up your favorite coffee mug and join your expert and your guide, Carib Carter Clues.
Hello, hello, hello. This is Carib Carter, and welcome to Coffee with Carib Carter. Let me grab a sip here. Let the good times roll. All right. We're up to 79. It's always great to get together. I appreciate the chance to be with you. And today we have three very exciting segments, okay? Very exciting segments of Coffee with Carib Carter. First of all, it is, where's my little graphic here? Here we go. It is mail call, Carib Carter Mail Call Day, all right? Keep him posted. That's a reminder you, let me see your emails, okay? I'm going to give you some contact information later, but for right now, it's Mail Call Day. We're going to do three types of communications from you. Phone call I got, email, text message. We'll get to those in a minute. We also have, for our $1,000 listing Caribbean, for the first time ever, I think, surprisingly enough, we're going to go to Roatan Island, okay? Roatan Island. And I want to tell you from personal experience, I lived on Roatan for about 6 months. It is Paradise Island. When you can jog on the beach and count the starfish swimming by, faster than I jogged, by the way, that's pretty paradisical, I think is the word. All right. And it really is. So we're going to go there and look at an incredible home there. I like it. I like it a lot. I think you're going to like it too. And finally, we have a motivation moment that I can guarantee you is going to help you make your decision to move forward. I'm using those terms, move forward deliberately. You're going to see why when we, at the very end, a few minutes from now, we look at the motivation moment. I'll give you a hint. It's Chaz Palminteri, who I love. Some of you are thinking, Chaz, where do I know that name from? Bronx Tale, one of the best movies ever made. A lot of good lessons in it, okay? So first, let me remind you, it's Mail Call Day, and I love hearing from you, okay? You can email me. Gary had it up there before I could even say it. caribcarter7@gmail.com, okay? I answer all my emails, and I love it, okay? I have some real pen pals now. Or you can call me. You can call me at, there we go. And folks, that is my personal cell phone, okay? Call me or text me anytime. I'm getting more and more calls, more and more texts. I enjoy it. And it's important because remember, the Offshore Club isn't just about you. It is you, okay? The Offshore Club isn't just about you. It is you. So when you call me, when you talk to me, when you write to me, it helps me guide me as to what you want from your club, okay? What you want from your club, from your lifestyle club, from your community club. So give me a call, drop me an email. Let's talk, all right? And let's start right now because in our mailbag, remember I told you I'm going to respond to an email, I'm going to respond to a text message, I'm going to respond to what happened when I had a great phone call, okay? So let's get to that, right? All right. First of all, I got a great text message. All right, great, from Michael M. Okay, from Michael M. I never use full names because I protect your privacy. All right. Here's what he wrote to me in a text message. Carib Carter, I watch all 5 of the Offshore Club daily podcasts every week. Thank you, Michael. Thank you. You always seem to be enjoying yourself, which I do. You know, I'm lucky enough to be on all 5 of them. Which one is your favorite? Fat chance I'm going to answer that. Okay. But if my favorite is Coffee with Carib Carter. There we go. That's the easy out. No, that's taking the cheap way out. Let me put it this way. Okay. There are 5. All right. For those who don't realize it, some of you I know just watch Coffee with Carib Carter. I appreciate your viewing, but if you're not watching the other 4, you're missing some great shows. Coffee with Carib Carter, you're watching right now. There I am in the middle of the palm trees. How's that for the good life, huh? Yeah. All right. Every Monday. See what it says there? Then we have every Tuesday, When I Know You Love, Charlotte's Wandering Web, okay? And Charlotte is one of these people who, and I hear this from when you all write to me and all, that you just like, okay? I like her. I like her. She's in Mexico. And what Charlotte does, she shares with us everyday life, because I know that's what you want to know about. And she knows it. And that's what she lives. Charlotte is like nomadic. She's lived everywhere. And it's not like she goes there and she sets herself apart. She gets right into the community. And she comes from us now every week from Lake Chapala. There's a name of a town I can never pronounce it, so I'm not even going to try. But Charlotte's Wandering Web every Tuesday is just a great, great podcast where she shares you real life, okay? She tells you the cost of living, the restaurants, the people, everything about it. And it is wonderful because she's wonderful, all right? She's wonderful. Then you have, here we go, on Wednesday, Leslie at Large comes to you from Nicaragua, okay? Every Wednesday I talk to her, and little different approach. I can't stop laughing. She's a very funny lady. She's a former pageant person, okay? You can see her picture there. Well, she would have been a pageant person. But her sense of humor is unbelievable. And I, honestly, God, sometimes have to stop laughing long enough to do the interview, okay? But her life's different from Charlotte because Leslie is at Grand Pacifica, the most gorgeous residential resort community in all of Latin America. And she tells about residential resort life, okay? Residential everyday life you get on Mondays from Charlotte, or Tuesdays from Charlotte. Let me get this right. You get me Monday. Tuesdays with Charlotte at Charlotte's Wandering Web. Wednesday, you get what it's like when you're living in a gated community with all the gardening, all the amenities right there for you. And she tells us what's that like. Because a lot of you I know, a lot of you say, I'm not ready to just venture out on my own into, a small town. Like my wife and I have a place in El Calan, a little small town in Honduras now. Granted, I have an advantage. My wife was Honduran, so I have a slight advantage there, don't I? But for those who want a residential resort community where you're mostly surrounded probably by Americans or Canadians, that type. Okay, that show, Leslie at Large, comes to you from Grand Pacifica. And she tells you what life is like there. Helps you she doesn't sell you Grand Pacifica. She says, this is what it's like when you live where there's a golf course, horseback riding, everything else you can think of, organized activities. So there you go. Thursday, all right? This is, I'm glad Michael asked this because it gives me a chance to talk to you all about it. These are the shows he watches. Remember, he said I watch all of them. Joel Nagel's Global Wealth Fortress Report. Joel's America's #1 asset protection attorney. And I'm going to tell you what else I think he's #1. He is the #1 economic analyst that I've ever talked to. I remember I worked with the members of the Senate Finance Committee, okay, in Washington. One of my best friends is the former chief economic officer of the U.S. Chamber of Commerce. I've never seen anyone like Joel. His economic analysis is just spot on. And let me tell you something. Joel takes no prisoners. He tells you what's going on. He gives no quarter, and he takes no prisoners. And so make sure to watch it every Thursday. All these, by the way, are at noon at offshore.club. Let me repeat that. Noon offshore.club. All these podcasts that Michael asked me about that I'm sharing with you now. Friday, the Offshore Investment Oracle with Mike Cobb with his Offshore Investment Report. Remember, Mike and Joel together, they own like 5 or 6 residential resort communities throughout the Caribbean. Started investing 25 years ago, investing their own money. They were like the Lewis and Clark of the whole offshore movement, which each of you is a part of now, okay? You're the pioneers now, too. But they figured out where to invest, where the smart money should go, and they are the smart money. And Mike, he gets right down to the nitty gritty and tells you, hey, you want to invest? Think about this, think about that. He wrote this book. He wrote the book, He wrote the book. It's kind of like Mike could have said, when I want to read a good book, I write one. That book is free. Okay. Consumer Resource Guide. That's a great investment guide by Mike Cobb. Fridays at noon at Offshore.club. Okay. Fridays at noon at Offshore.club. Let me put it this way. If Mike Cobb told me to invest in gopher holes in outer Mongolia, that's where I put my money. He's that smart. He's that good. And he gives you that free advice every Friday, just like Joel gives you asset protection, free advice that he charges an arm and a leg to multimillionaires worldwide. He gives it to you free on Thursdays at noon at Offshore.club. Okay. So the answer to Michael's question, my favorite is me. As immodest as that may sound, it's Coffee with Carib Carter at noon on Mondays, which you're watching right now. But each of the other shows has its own unique flavor, its own unique feel. Okay. Its own unique feel. So tune into them. Pick your favorite. I got a feeling like Michael, where he says, I watch all 5 daily podcasts in his text to me every week. I got a feeling you're going to find yourself watching all 5 too. Okay. Because they're that good. Because they are that good. All right. All right. Let's move on to the email. Okay. Let's move on to this month's. I do Carib Carter Mail Call once a month. Okay. As the regular, as those of you who regularly already know. All right. Let's move onto the email now. This is from Judy A. Okay. Not as much fun as Mike's question, but important. Important. Dear Carib Carter, I know you spent a lot of time in Washington, and you seem to come away from it pretty cynical about politicians, you think? What shaped your views, and how did that influence your founding of the Offshore Club? That's a great question from Judy. That's a great two-pronged question from Judy, isn't it? Okay. What shaped my opinion of politicians, and how that spurred me to found the Offshore Club for all of our Offshore Club members? All right. Let me tell you what spurred that. When I started out with the committee to re-elect the president in 1972. I always say, somebody said to me once, well, geez, did you get a lot of great job offers after that? No, because everybody above me ended up in jail. Okay. So committee, that was Nixon, folks. That's the Watergate. Yeah. Okay. But my first full-time job was the National Right to Work Committee. And this is going to help you understand where my attitude toward politicians comes from. Okay. So I get this job as PR director for the National Right to Work Committee. Big organization, important organization, and political organization in Washington. And I go to the first staff meeting. All right. I was young back then. This is like 1977. So I go to the first staff meeting. I sit down and I want to impress everybody with the big mahogany table, the whole works. And I say, well, as the PR director, I'm just wondering, who are our friends on Capitol Hill in the Senate and the House? Who are our friends? I swear to God, if you saw the movie The Exorcist, you remember how when the devil would come, the room would turn very cold. You could see your breath. All of a sudden, I could see my breath in front of my face. That's how cold the room got, right? And the guy Reed Larson was president and chairman, but there was a guy named Huck who was the CEO who ran day to day. And he was a very unusual guy. He drank his coffee out of a big, like, beer mug or something. He slammed it down. Bang! The coffee splashed up in the air. He turned to me and he said, you need to learn something. You need to learn something. We have no friends on Capitol Hill in the Senate and the House, nor do we want any friends. We don't want love. We want fear. Okay? I'm like, man, that's kind of harsh. But you know what? You know what I learned? What I learned was he was exactly right. So I worked in Washington at the highest possible levels for another 40 years or whatever it was. Let's see, 77, 87, 97, 2000. Yeah, okay, 40 years. And you know what? Huck was exactly right. Why is that important? There's no use getting love from those people because they have no sense of fidelity, politicians. You need fear because that's the only thing they listen to. They have no loyalty. You remember Harry Truman, President Harry Truman said, when you come to Washington, if you want a friend, by a dog. Okay. That's how politicians are, folks. I tell you that as somebody who worked hand in hand with them for almost 50 years at the highest levels. Okay. And I don't say that to brag. It's just the way it is. I was blessed. But you can count the number you can trust on one hand, and have a couple fingers left over. Okay. In my years, I can rattle off Ronald Reagan. I worked very close to him. You could definitely trust Ronald Reagan. Jesse Helms, Strom Thurmond. He was a man of his word. Some of these names, some of you remember, others say, who are these people? Rudman, I think he was from Connecticut, New Hampshire, I think it was, now that I think about it. Armstrong from Colorado. Notice how I'm doing this? That's almost it. The rest of them, you had to watch them every second, and you had to watch your back every second, okay? You just did. I'm telling you. If it were up to me, I'd have a 6-year rule. Nobody stays in Washington longer than 6 years. And you know what? I'm going to give you a little hint. I know some of you probably contribute to political organizations. Find out if the executives in those organizations have been there longer than 6 years, and question whether to give your money to them, because there really is, again, Harry Truman called it Potomac fever. It sets in and the people are corrupted because they become insular. They become incestuous, okay? And they take care of each other. How bad is that? Well, I'm going to tell you, okay? I'm not going to stretch this segment out, but Judy asked such a great question. Right now, I'm going to tell you something that some of you are going to go, no way, but it is way, unfortunately. Please do not think that there are two parties in Washington, D.C. I know a lot of you who are frightened to death by the dictatorial policies of the Biden regime, are saying, well, come November, thank God, we can get a Republican majority in the Senate and the House. I was just watching a great podcast by Dick Morris. Now, some people like Dick, some don't. Dick he was the guy that helped Clinton get elected, top advisor. And Dick's a very smart guy. And he was saying, and I'm going to tell you the same thing, Mitch McConnell would be more than happy to remain in the minority in Washington. Okay? That's why he is cutting the throats of those who Trump is trying to help get elected. I'm just telling you, I know this guy, McConnell. Okay? The invasion of Trump's home, please do not think for 1 minute that McConnell and Schumer didn't both know it, sign off, and were gleeful about it. You say, Carib Carter, it can't possibly be. It is. I watched him. I worked with him. Almost 50 years. Don't think Republican and Democrat, think uniparty. Okay, I'm just telling you. But she asked me what made me so cynical. That's the reason. Okay, that's the reason. I'll give you one quick example. Never forget, for 7 years, the Republicans said, we're going to vote for us. Vote us into the House, vote us into the Senate. We're going to repeal Obamacare. So they voted him into the House. And yeah, the House voted to repeal Obamacare. But lo and behold, that was only while Obama was in, and Paul Ryan and Boehner knew he'd veto it anyway because they wanted to keep Obamacare. One proof positive, look what happened when they finally, and what was it, they elected a Senate majority of Republicans. All of a sudden, the Senate Republican majority, after telling you for all those years, we're going to repeal it, vote us, and then they voted to keep Obamacare. Betrayal, total, absolute betrayal, but totally pre-planned. That's the way it works, okay? That's the way Washington works. I'm sorry, okay? That's the way it works. So, Judy, that's why I'm so cynical. And as to what it had to do with me founding the Offshore Club, is it's only going to get worse, okay? It's only going to get worse. If you doubt that, I'm going to say 3 words to you. You ready? Inflation Reduction Act. That is the biggest, it's the world's record in a lying name for a bill, a bogus name for a bill. It is going to, you can't spend between $400 and $700 billion that you don't have, that you're going to have to print fiat money to without increasing inflation. Okay. According to the Chicago School of University of Chicago School of Economy, it's going to reduce employment by 900,000. That bill. It's not going to help reduce inflation. Reduce the GDP by 1.2%, and reduce the average household income by $1,200. But they say, but it's going to reduce taxes. You think? Not according to this Fox News here. Okay, great analysis there. You remember the big lie about the bill? Well, but it's only going to increase taxes on people who only make 400,000 or more. No, 61% of those earning 40 to 50,000. Does that include you? Are going to see their taxes increase. A quarter of those at the poverty level, 10 to 20,000, are going to see their taxes increase. And you think it's not going to happen to you? Why do you think they've decided to hire $80 billion they set aside for 87,000 armed, did I say armed? I think I did. Armed new IRS agents. It's in their ad. You say, Carter, they're not really going to be armed. It's in their ad, folks. Where do I have it? I've got it. I'm sorry. I know I'm taking longer than I wanted to, but I'm going to thoroughly answer your question as to why this is important to the Offshore Club. Can you read that? Can you read that? One of their ad for their new 87,000 agents must be willing to carry a firearm and be willing to use deadly force against you. Oh, you forgot to dot an I, or you got a decimal in the wrong place? Well, here I'm from the IRS, and I've got my computer and Gatling gun. What's going on? What the hell's going on out there? So there you go. There's your answer. So the reason for the Offshore Club, get out. Just get out. You're not going to beat this. Just get out. You're going to elect Republicans in November. Mitch McConnell is majority leader. Please. McCarthy. Come on. Look, at least get your plan B escape route in place. That's all I'm saying. Just get it in place. Okay, just get it in place. Your taxes in Nicaragua, Honduras, Guatemala, El Salvador, throughout Central America, maybe if you're an American resident, you're not going to pay any taxes on any money earned outside of those countries. And if you decide to get citizenship or residency, you might pay 10%, maybe. That's it. Property taxes, you're going to buy $1 million home. If you buy $1 million home, it's going to be an incredible mansion. Let's say $300,000 or $400,000 home, which would cost you $3 or $4 million up here. Your property tax may be $100 a year. Cost of living about a third to a quarter of what it is here. So that's your answer, Judy. Yeah, I am cynical about politicians because I know what they are. I know what they do. And I founded the Offshore Club to help you and all our other Offshore Club members have an alternative. Just have an alternative. That's all I'm saying. Okay. All right. There we go. Sorry to go on so long on that, but it's important. I owe it to you to tell you the truth about what's going on out there. Okay. You deserve it. I would rather know the truth and be unhappy about it than not. If I had cancer, I'd rather the doctor tell me than say, geez, I don't want to upset the guy. Well, come on, give me a break. So there we go. All right. The final question in our Carib Carter Mail Call. Phone call. Remember I said I was going to do an email, text message, phone call. I got a phone call from Danielle. Wonderful person. She called me a couple of times. And she said, I always like it when you tell us a funny story about your day in the days in your past. Well, particularly in Washington, I could tell you some hilarious stories about my day in private industry because I worked in sports handicapping, okay, the sports gambling world. And if you know anything about that, let's put it this way. My cohorts were guys like Tony D and Joey D, okay? I I am not a gangster, but Joey D and Tony D and the others, they were pretty serious about making sure people paid those debts. Right? Handicapping is legal, by the way. I wasn't doing anything illegal, but but Danielle, I know, likes to hear Washington stories. So I'll tell you quick. And I mentioned right to work. Mentioned the president was Reed Larson. One of the funniest things I ever saw. Reed Larson was an old Kansas boy. Okay, Reed was about 6'4", and he was not Washington. Okay, as a matter of fact, he very smart. He moved the headquarters of the National Right to Work Committee out of Washington to suburban Virginia, so that his employees wouldn't get into that milieu down there. Okay, and become the part of the sleaze. I'm just telling you, that's how it was. I was one of the employees, I know. All right. So Reed was just a good old Kansas boy, very totally unpretentious. I'll never forget, he got invited to the White House. Okay. One of these White House reception type things and all with President Reagan. And he went, well, I don't think I need to go to that. Let's, we're taking care of our business here, and we like President Reagan, but I don't think he need to be down there. Let's just stick to our job here. And we all begged him, please, this is the president. Go down, get your picture taken with him. We put in the newsletter. It's very, very important. So finally, after we pestered him for weeks on end, he agreed to go. So he goes. He gets in the reception line. Okay, he's in the reception line. He goes down the reception line. There's President Reagan. Okay, wonderful man. Incredible sense of humor. Reed goes up, says hello to Nancy Reagan. Reed was always very polite. President Reagan sticks out his hand to shake hands with Reed Larson. Reed reaches into his suit coat and pulls out a thick letter that he's written about some right to work union issue and puts it in the president's hand instead of shaking hands with him. It says, Mr. President, I want you to read this. I want you to read this. Reagan, always delightful, never missed a beat. This is what Reed Larson told us. He said, well, Reed, Reed, I'll make sure to do that. But I have to warn you that I usually do my reading at night. I read myself to sleep at night. So it may take me a while to get through this letter. That was one of the highlights of being at the Right to Work Committee. Was Reed Larson. It became legendary. Reed Larson's visit with President Reagan. So there you go. There you go. For Danielle and for all of those out there who like, the lighter side of Washington politics. And there was a lighter side. There were a lot of funny things that happened. I'd love to share them with you. And that was one of the best. A lot of them involved Reagan. He was a very witty, funny, delightful, warm person. All right. So now that we've talked all about answered the mailbag, I told Danielle my job is to help you move offshore. So let's go offshore now to a place that I would recommend you might want to move to. Okay. Place I lived. I told you I lived there 6 months or so. I lived there when Dan Taylor, an incredible person, a brilliant man, a wonderful guy, a very dear friend. He's like a brother to me still. And this had to be 10 years ago, 15 years ago, maybe, when he was building Keyhole Bay, gorgeous residential resort community. And so when I talk to you about Roatan, I'm telling you what I know. Okay. When I say Paradise Island, I mean Paradise Island. All right. So we're going to go there now. Okay. Let's go there. Let's go to Vivian. You know how much I love Vivian. There's the listing we're going to look at today. Okay. There's the number. Thank you, Gary. Remember how this works. If you go to Vivian, let me get this right here. Carter, get your fingers out of the way. See the little white box? You type that number in there, hit go, and it's going to take you to the home we're going to look at right now together. Okay. Roatan, new home for sale in Roatan. Roatan, I always like to let you know where stuff is. Okay. Longview. Remember, I told you I used to write movies, TV shows, all that, infomercials. So I like to take the long view first, the long shot. Okay, there's Honduras. See Honduras there? That's where we're going to go. We're going right to Honduras. All right. You saw it there. It's the blue one. The blue one. See, it's bi-coastal. See it there? There we go. Honduras. It's in Central America, not in South America. All right. Central America. Let's take a little closer look. We're not just going to Honduras. We're not going to the mainland. We're going to the island. See Roatan Island? There's Honduras. There's, see where it says La Ceiba there, by the way? Can you see that? Let me point it out to you. La Ceiba. La Ceiba. That's where Carib Carter has his beach home. On the beach, La Ceiba Beach Club.com. Gorgeous 2-bedroom home. The front yard is the beach. $35,000 will cost you at least $400,000 in the U.S. But offshore, matter of fact, you can take a ferry boat across from La Ceiba to Roatan. See Roatan there, the big island. There are 3 of them. There are 3 Bay Islands, and they're owned by Honduras. There's Roatan in the middle. I've circled it in red for you. Now, let me say this, and Roatan is owned by Honduras, but there are very few Hondurans on Roatan Island. A lot of Americans, a lot of Canadians, Italians. There's a direct flight from Milan to Roatan Island's airport, okay? Okay, so this is a gorgeous island. It's still pristine, okay? It's developed a lot over the past 10 years, but it's still pristine, all right? Still pristine island. Matter of fact, to give you an idea about it, Gary, let's run the video. I have a video. It's about a 15-minute video. We're going to look at the first 2 minutes because it really does give you a good feel for Roatan Island. Gary, let's run it real quick.
Gotcha. Look over here. Look over here. Do you see it?
All right, that's Roatan. And by the way, the West End where they showed you there looks almost exactly the same as when I was there 10, 12 years ago. Except the road is paved and it was a sand road when I was there. Other than that, the pier that went out there, that's it. That's what it looked like then. It looks like that now. I like that. I'm glad. West Bay, there's a lot more modern places that built up there, but still very nice. Still, I think it's 40 square miles. Still very pristine. Here's the house we're going to look at. Here's the house we're going to look at. Let me put this in perspective for you. This is a beautiful home. You saw the price when I held it up earlier. I'm not going to, hold out on the price till later. No, $219,000. $219,000, folks. $219,000. This home, if you were on a gorgeous island like Roatan in the U.S., would cost you 10 times as much. At least. I'm saying at least, and by the time we get done, I'm going to show you, and you're going to say, well, you were right, Carter, except you understated it. There's the home. This is brand new. It's a gorgeous home. It's well built. Look here. It's the another view of it. I think this is the other side of it. All right. All right. Notice which I think was in the first picture. Yeah, you saw the split duct air conditioning. So it is air conditioned. It is air conditioned. It is three bedroom, 2 bath. 3 bedroom, 2 bath. Block construction. No stairs. So if you're older, you're retired, don't worry about climbing steps. Amazing views of the Caribbean Sea. 300 meters from the water's edge. We're on an island. You're on an island. I remember Dan Taylor, one time I said to him, Dan, I need to get something on the other, and I can't find it on the island. And he said, on Roatan, he said, Carter, this is an island. If you didn't bring it, it ain't here. Okay. So this island only 300 meters from the water's edge. Okay. So you're right there. You're right there. Walk down to the pier in minutes. Do your boating. One of the bedrooms, even size, with space for a home office. It's in a gorgeous area. The Mariposa community. I know that community. It's very, very nice. South side of the island. All right. And remember, the second largest, if you like diving, snorkeling, the second largest coral reef in the world is offshore at Roatan. All right. This is a gorgeous island, folks. All right. So currently, there's no HOA. They may add, the guy says, he's very honest, very open, says they may add one later, but right now there's none. And when they do add one, it's going to be minuscule. Okay. Okay. This is a good deal. This $219,000 for the island home. Let's look inside. Let's look inside. All right. We looked outside. It's very pretty. Very, very pretty. Brand new. Brand new. Okay. Look at that. 2 outdoor decks. 2 outdoor covered decks. Okay. It's got landscaping. Let's go inside. Wow, that's pretty, huh? Notice kitchen, dinette area. Look at the mahogany. That's nicely built, folks. This is very beautifully done, isn't it? And here's the living room. Okay. Here's the living room. Okay, the living area picture. That window overlooks down toward the Caribbean Sea, the ocean. The ocean. Now, you get all of that, okay? Remember, we're talking 3 bedroom, 2 bath home, okay? Okay. Perfect distance from the ocean. It's got a dock you can go out on. I should have printed out a picture. That's a gorgeous dock. It's a big dock. Now, remember I told you, if you find a place like this in the U.S., it's going to cost you 10 times as much. And you may say, Carib Carter, really, you think so? I think so. Here's the front yard of the home that you're going to get for $219,000. Not a bad view. That ain't a bad view. All right. Here's the front yard view of a lot. A lot. No home. No 3 bedroom, 2 bath lot. A lot for sale at Jupiter Island, Florida, which is not as nice as Roatan. Okay. Okay. That's all you're getting. That's all you're getting. On Roatan Island, you're getting this plus the home. Okay. Roatan Island, you're paying $219,000 total. Well, how much is the lot, which is not as nice, on Jupiter Island in Florida? Ba-da. Does that say 10 million? That's highway robbery, folks. My father used to say to people when they do, he used to say, I thought Jesse James rode a horse. Well, that's highway robbery. And this is the deal of a lifetime. All right. This is the deal of a lifetime. $219,000 for all of that. Okay. That on the island, a gorgeous, pristine Caribbean island. Check it out. Go to vivian.com, check it out and grab it up. And let me tell you something else. That price is going to skyrocket. Okay. As more and more and more and more and more Americans move offshore in what there's an article out now called The Great American Exodus, where they found a 300% increase in people moving offshore. Okay. Plus, keep in mind, it can be your permanent home, which I would advise. It can be vacation home, very nice place to spend your vacation. How about all winter? When it's cold up here, it's beautiful down there. Or it can be a rental. You're building equity and you're getting cash flow. Okay. It's kind of hard to beat that. So there you got it. There you got it. You know, I've told you, and I went a little too long about it, but I had to be honest with you, what you need to escape from. And there you go. This is what you need to escape to for $219,000. You cannot lose. You will make a fortune on it in years to come, plus the cash flow. So there you go. There you go. And now to finish up, I want to encourage you to make the move. Remember I said earlier, move forward. All right, now we're going to show you a video where I said Chaz Palminteri, I love the guy. It's all about moving forward. You've got to move forward in life. Please, that's so vitally important. You can't stand. There is no standing still. There's either forward or retrograde. That's the way the world works because it keeps moving. Okay, so let's look at what Chaz has to say for the next 2 minutes. Okay, then I'll be back.
How do you live life to the fullest with no regrets? Wow, what a question. What advice or wisdom can you give your younger fans about truly enjoying life and what it really means? You got about 5 hours? Okay. Hardy, all I could say to you, my friend, is have no regrets. Have no regrets. And the way you do that is show up. Life is about showing up. You've heard me say this many times. 85% of success in life is just showing up, folks. People who show up to life, life shows up to you. But if you're lazy, you don't want to do anything, you stay in the house, you don't want to meet new people, you don't want to go out and meet someone, have a relationship with, life will pass you by. And the precious thing about life and time, once it's gone, once time is gone, you can never get it back. I don't give a shit how rich you are, how wealthy you are, how smart you are, how brilliant you are. Once you lose time, it's gone.
You got to love that guy. You got to love that guy. Folks, you got to be forward, got to keep moving forward, keep your eyes on the path. Don't let the doomsayers and the naysayers and the dream slayers pull you away from what you want, okay? And what you want, I know, because most of you watch this are Offshore Club members. What you want is a good life at a great price. You want to be able to breathe and be free, breathe free again, right? You probably want the sun, sand, and surf, and it's all there, south of the border at the bargain price we talked about. So move forward. Keep your eyes on the path. And as we say every week, let's do this thing.